Hi, this is Randy Altman with Post Perspective at NAB 2014. I'm here with Bryce Button from AJA, and they have a lot of news here at the show. One product in particular has been causing a bit of a buzz. Can you tell us about your new camera?
Yeah, we delivered a new baby this week.
You did?
It's called Cion, and Cion is a camera that actually looks like a camera. So it's sort of evolved out of a respect for the format of the camera over time, and also brings together all our technologies we've been building for years and puts it into one device.
Now, when you say it looks like a camera, so it's a shoulder mount.
Yep. So it's a shoulder mount. You might describe it as like a sort of typical ENG type form factor. But we've designed it so that it can also work well on tripods, etc., with longer lenses and that type of thing. So extremely well balanced, and I think some of my happiest interactions this week have been with actual cameramen telling me, okay, I could use this all day long.
Really?
Which is key.
Well, you put so you're using PL mount.
It's a PL mount for the camera. So the camera, in terms of its capabilities, is a 4K, UHD, 2K, HD camera. And then we have a PL mount, as you described, and that's so that we can handle professional glass, and we've got a lot more flexibility there with focus and with aperture settings. And then even for HD, which we know most people are going to be working for quite some time, we actually use our scaling technology to bring that down from the 4K sensor, so you've got everything off the sensor as opposed to cropping.
Okay.
Cropping has been a very popular technique used by a lot of other manufacturers, but you lose quite a bit of quality there. And so you can oversample, you've got more information to create that HD image, and so it's really nice.
Now it's also it's a ProRes workflow?
Complete ProRes workflow, so all 5 codecs, which is great. So LT, which a lot of the broadcasters like to use because it's lower bandwidth, but all the way up through ProRes 444. And so, we've obviously been very busy the last few weeks, as you tend to be building up for shows. And
yeah.
The quality coming out is fantastic. But, in terms of your viewers and readers, it's a big deal for editors. Because what we've been trying to do this whole time is, obviously we started a long time ago working with Apple with Final Cut, etc., was how do you keep simplifying the workflow so you don't have to go through 3,000 stages of transcode. So literally the pack drives that it records to are HFS formatted, work on your Mac automatically. So you're just taking it out, put it into your little Thunderbolt dock, and play the files immediately. We couldn't make 4K simpler for you.
So repeat that, and it's because there's Thunderbolt connectivity.
Yes,
there's
on the camera as well.
Yeah.
So the Thunderbolt connectivity on the camera we're utilizing for 30 frames per second raw output. So you can actually be in the field, and maybe you've got a laptop and a Promise hard drive, and use a Thunderbolt cable to go to it. Now, for those who are thinking, well, a Thunderbolt cable is only this long, that's not quite the case anymore. If you look at Corning cables, and I think for editing facilities, it's going to be a good idea with the new Mac, etc. You can get up to 50 to 100 meters now, which gives you a lot of play, of course, from the camera to wherever you're setting up your holding station. So it's a pretty cool device. And another thing I really like about it which is unique, is that it's got a LAN Ethernet connection, and that means you can both fully control the camera, even if it's up on a crane. But more importantly, perhaps, it gives you a preview window of what the camera is seeing. So you could be the editor, or you could be the director. A lot of us do both these days.
Yes.
And the camera can be in a bit of an awkward position, and you can be sitting on your laptop literally watching what it's grabbing. So again, as I said, it's bringing all our key technologies together, scaling, high frame rates, because we also support up to 120 frames per second out through the SDIs as RAW. You'd need a more robust system like our Corvid Ultra to obviously capture that. But that's great for the sports broadcasters if you're pushing for 120. So pretty exciting time.
Yeah. And in addition to the camera, you also had some announcements around Kona and Corvid as well.
Yeah, so we have a new Kona, Kona 4. Initially, it is available through developers and OEMs, and then there will be retail drivers coming a little later. But that's great. If you're an Autodesk fan, the new Flame Premium is running on it. If you're into color correction, groups like Colorfront are using it. And in really interesting applications, Cisco is on our booth, and they've got a Kona 4 back in Culver City that is capturing 4K material, and that is being sent to our booth as HEVC, which is high efficiency video codec, and that's pretty much what's going to be required to bring 4K into the home. So it's kind of fun seeing things all start to come into play.
Because you guys, 4K was big for you right from the beginning.
Yes.
You guys believed in it.
Yeah, because we've been involved with it in the digital cinema space for a long time. Also, for me as an editor and a lover of this business and the rest of it, I think with film's demise, there's a requirement to have a good enough source that can stand the test of time. And HD doesn't quite have that resolution or that color depth. And so 4K, I think, is going to be a good base point for quite some time going forward, which I just think is thrilling.
Yeah.
And, on the editing side as well, we also have a LUT box now. So this is a little mini converter. For those not familiar with what LUT is, it's a lookup table. And the idea is you've got all these RAW cameras coming out. And when you have a RAW camera, the dynamic range is generally broader than the monitor you're viewing it on. So a LUT effectively says remap the stuff down into this narrower range that the monitor accepts. So you get an image on the screen that looks like your final. And so for editors, that means they don't necessarily have to be working right away, color correcting everything. They could just use this LUT box on the SDI output, and it's got simultaneous HDMI and SDI output. So you could drive a very affordable 4K monitor, HD monitor. But yeah, the key point there is also to serve directors and visual effects houses. It's very common now with so much green screen shooting going on that you'll actually have a video effects supervisor on set, and they need to see how it's going to match the color work they're doing.
Yeah.
So instead of mucking up what's being recorded, it needs to be recorded raw or clean, they can literally load a LUT, which is basically a text document that describes the color mapping, into the LUT box, just with a laptop or a USB, and then out on the screen they're able to tell, yeah, this is going to match, that isn't, let's adjust.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a busy time period.
So just before we wrap up, did we talk about the Corvid?
No, so with the Corvid Ultra has been our high-end box. You know, it's in the Quantel Pablo Rio, which we announced at NAB last year. What we've done since last NAB is we've heavily developed the software around it, and what that means is a product called TrueZoom. And TrueZoom is to make 4K sources practical for HD television today. And the concept is you might have a sporting location. Other arenas we've seen are like big pop concerts, etc. So you'll stick up your 4K camera, and then through the Corvid, which is capturing all this to a hard drive system, the TrueZoom software allows you to go in and extract what we call, it's a region of interest, so we call it ROI. And you're extracting this HD shape, and you can literally create virtual camera positions. And that's how for Super Bowl, for MLB, we were just in a conference meeting where the MLB guys were presenting with us and saying, oh, this is how we actually show you that, no, he didn't have his foot on the mat while he was catching the ball. That type of thing, because you can stop it, play with time, and literally recompose an entire camera shot out of the original 4K plate. So it's doing fabulously well. That's
pretty cool. Pricing. Let's talk. If you could give us camera, Kona, Corvid.
Yeah. So in terms of the Kona 4, it's the same price as the Kona 3G. We're not getting rid of the Kona 3G at all. The big advantage of the Kona 4 for editors that are thinking about it is that it gives you 60p at 4K. And also 444 color space, so it handles a lot of depth and a lot of speed. It's $19.95. And then to circle back around to the camera, which I think is what's really stunned everyone, it's basically $8,995, which, considering it does a lot of, if not more than some cameras, pretty much quadruple that price.
Yeah, there was like an
stunning.
audible gasp at the press conference
Yes.
when you guys put the price up.
Yeah, we were able to do it because what we've been doing is we've never mucked around with pricing, as you know. We've just taken our costs, added our margin. That's what we can give the public. But the bottom line is, this is the benefit of having created all these different technologies over time. They've already paid for their R&D, and bringing them together is a much cheaper prospect for us than somebody that would be starting from scratch. So.
Well, it's pretty cool.
Oh, it's
Thanks
a
for
great
coming
show.
and visiting.
Thank you again.
So, Bryce Button, AJA, Randy Altman, Post Perspective. We'll see you soon.